Welcome to Fazza Love Poem. Subscribe now. She was never a fleeting line in the story of my life. Never a passing mention or a chapter easily turned. From the moment her soul touched mine, she became the ink and the paper, the author and the meaning, the reason the story existed at all. My life was once fragmented pages, scattered and incomplete, but she gathered them together, binding them into something whole, something eternal. She was the opening line that caught the breath, the rising plot that gave depth, the climax that made everything worth living. I realized then that she was not meant to come and go. She was meant to stay, to last beyond time, to hold every word, every pause, every silence within her. She was not written in my life as an episode. She was carved into it as the very narrative itself. Without her, the book would be unfinished, its meaning lost, its story incomplete. She was not a chapter, she was my entire book, and I would read her forever. When I think of her, I see not a page, but a universe of words, flowing endlessly, shaping themselves into poetry that carries my heartbeat within it. She was the beginning, the spark that ignited everything. She was the middle, the place where the story deepened, where emotions grew roots too strong to be torn away. She was the ending, not in the sense of closure, but as the everlasting horizon that stretches into eternity. Her name is written between every line, her laughter etched into every margin, her tears staining the pages with truth. She became the reason every word mattered, the pulse behind every paragraph. Without her, the story was hollow. With her, it became eternal. She is not just my love, she is the narrative of my soul, the reason my book exists at all. And when the world asks me where my story begins and ends, I whisper her name, for she is all of it. She is not simply bound in the covers of my heart. She is the spine that holds it together, the ink that breathes life into it, the paper that carries the weight of every word. Before her, my story was scattered, broken into fragments without rhythm, but her presence gave it structure, meaning, flow. She turned chaos into beauty, scattered words into melody, silence into rhythm. She became the song beneath every sentence, the heartbeat behind every word. She was not an addition, not an annotation, not an afterthought. She was the essence, the soul, the reason I could write at all. She is the kind of book that has no ending, because love does not end. It continues spilling over, rewriting itself with every glance, every touch, every moment shared. She is the kind of book that does not gather dust, for it glows eternally, read by the soul, endlessly. She is not one chapter of my life. She is the entirety, the beginning and forever after. Every chapter of my heart carries her presence, but none can stand alone, because she is woven into all of them. She was there in my childhood dreams, unspoken but waiting. She was there in my moments of loss, the unwritten hope between the lines. She was there in my awakening, the voice that turned silence into truth. And she is there in my forever, the promise that every story leads back to her. She is not merely the subject of my love, she is the structure of my existence. Each sentence in my soul bends toward her, each metaphor aches for her, each pause longs for her name. She is my poetry, my prose, my silence, my song. Without her, the book would fall apart, meaningless and hollow. With her, every page breathes eternity. She is not one chapter, I could never reduce her to that. She is every word, every line, every story I will ever tell, because she is my book itself. Sometimes I wonder if the world will ever understand that she is not just part of me, but the whole of me. Not a fleeting character, but the foundation of my narrative. She was not written into my story halfway. She was there from the first thought, the first breath, the first heartbeat that knew it would always belong to her. She is not a page I could turn. She is the book I could never put down. And even when time closes its covers, when the world believes stories must end, She will continue writing herself across my soul. She is not bound by endings. She is infinity in ink, eternity in words, love in its purest written form. Every story the universe has ever told pales beside the truth of her presence in mine. She is my everything, and if I could live 1,000 lives, she would still be the book I would read endlessly. She is not just the story I became, the reader, the writer, the lover, lost inside her pages forever. Every time I close my eyes, I see the chapters of her soul unfolding, each more beautiful than the last. Her silence speaks louder than words written in gold. Her gaze carries more weight than the longest passage. She is poetry without effort, meaning without force, beauty without pretense. And I, helplessly, endlessly, am caught within her book. I cannot skip ahead, I cannot set it aside, because every page is precious, every word eternal. She is the only story worth living, the only book worth reading forever. Even if the world offered me endless libraries, I would still choose her, again and again, because she is not a story I read once and forget. She is the kind that rewrites you, the kind that becomes your identity. She is not a chapter, she is my entire book, and I am hers eternally. Every day with her is another page written not in ink, but in eternity. Her laughter fills the margins with light. Her presence binds the story with strength. She is not a tale of fleeting romance. She is an epic carved in time. She is the kind of book that does not need to be finished, because its beauty lies in its endless unfolding. She is the kind of book that demands to be lived, not read. Each moment we share is another sentence of devotion, another paragraph of eternity, another proof that she is not passing through my life. She is not simply written into my heart. She has become the heart itself, beating as the story unfolds. She is the book I will never tire of, the book that teaches me, heals me, consumes me, and in her I find every answer, every truth, every meaning. She is my eternal narrative, my never-ending book of love. She became my eternity the way stories transcend time. No one will ever hold her as I do, for they will see her as a chapter while I know her as the book itself. They might see moments, I see the whole. They might see fragments, I see the entirety. For me, she is not an anecdote, not a passing story told to fill the silence. She is the silence itself, rich with meaning, infinite in depth. She is every emotion the heart has ever felt, every dream the soul has ever chased, every truth the universe has ever whispered. She is the only book my heart will ever need. And when others ask what my story is about, I smile, because the answer is her, always her, only. She is not my chapter, she is my book, and my eternity is bound in her spine, written in her ink, breathing in her pages forever. There is a sacredness in knowing that she was never meant to be temporary. She did not arrive to decorate a single passage or color one part of my story. She arrived to become all of it, the very heartbeat of my existence. And so she remains the book I will carry until my final breath. And beyond it too, even when the world forgets me, the story of her within me will continue to live. For love this eternal cannot be erased. She is not a fragment, she is the whole. She is not a page, she is the book. She is not an echo, she is the voice itself. She is not passing time, she is eternity bound in words. And I, her endless reader, will keep turning her pages, lost and found within her forever. She is not just my love, she is my entire book, and my soul will never stop reading her. She was not written in my story, she was my story. Every heartbeat echoes her name, every breath carries her sentence, every silence holds her chapter. She became the past I cherish, the present I hold, the future I long for. She is the beginning that gave me meaning, the middle that gave me depth, the ending that has no final word. For love such as this cannot be closed, cannot be shelved, cannot be forgotten. She is not simply love, she is eternity bound in form, devotion shaped into a book, existence transformed into poetry. And I will read her again and again, for she is infinite. Even when the ink fades, even when the paper turns to dust, Even when the world itself falls silent, she will remain in me, alive and eternal. She is not a chapter, she is the book, and I will carry her forever. The story that never ends, the love that never dies.